Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. And yesterday I was watching this YouTube channel named Coder and I learned about a website named Frontend Mentor. So if you don't know what this Frontend Mentor is, that it is actually a website. The URL will be frontendmentor.io. I will leave the link in the description below. So it has some challenges for the front-end developers. So if you go to the challenges page in here, you can see multiple challenges for different testers and for different languages. Like some of these are for only for HTML and CSS. Some of these also got the JavaScript included. There are total 5 stages, I think: newbie, intermediate, junior, advanced, and guru. Total 5 stages of difficulty. So you can filter by the free and premium. Actually there are some premium projects as well. So if you want to unlock the premium projects, you need to buy it from here. So I think the pricing is something like, okay, where is the pricing? Here it is. So you need to pay $8 per month yearly and monthly $12 per month. So I don't have any premium benefits, or I didn't pay, so we are going to cover the free projects. So if we filter out the free ones, and for newbie and junior there are lots of projects here. So I will be covering total of 15 projects in the next 15 days. So I will be uploading this video daily for next 15 days at around 8 a.m. the Eastern Standard Time, or EST. I will create a playlist out of this, and I will leave the link of the playlist in the description below as well. So if you are not subscribed yet, please don't forget to subscribe and also click the bell icon so that you will get notified whenever I upload a new video. And for the next 15 days there will be no gap among them. So for today we are going to create this first project here, which is the order summary component. And without any further ado, let's get started. So at first, in order to go through this, you need to log in with the GitHub. You can just click there and it will add the GitHub link and will ask for your permission. And after we do that, I'm actually already logged in here. So let's get into this order summary component, and here is the thing. So if you want to get the sketch and Figma design file access, you need to unlock the access with the pro, but I don't have that, so I'm not going to get that. So they will provide the JPG design files for mobile and desktop layout, also for style guide for fonts, color, the video asset, readme file to help you get started, and the HTML file with written content, which will actually cover this text here. So I have already downloaded it once, that's why it is saying that I have already started this challenge. But if you didn't do it, then you will have a red color button like download the resources or something like that. So I can download it again, and there are 3 stages. The first one is you can download the starter files, then download the design file, which we cannot do, otherwise you have a pro access. Then you can also submit the solution. If you want to see the solution here, you can do that. So I haven't submitted any solution, but yeah, okay. So after that, we are going to download the starter files from here, and it will download this as a zip file like that. Okay, this is our component. Let's just extract it in the desktop here. So it got multiple files. The first one is for the design, the JPEG format, and the images we need to complete the challenge, and this index.html got some text. Let's just open this up by the Visual Studio Code. Now we can read that. Okay, the style guide.md got the font and style guide, which got the layout. They designed it with the following weight: the mobile 3750 pixels, sorry, 375 pixels, and for desktop 1440 pixels. The colors, you also got some the colors they have used, but they are in the SSL format, although you can use it directly from here. The font family is Red Hat Display. You also got the Google font link here. The font height, you can also read out the entire readme file. I haven't read it yet and I don't need to. Okay. Actually don't know how does it either, but let's just ignore that. And you also get the git ignore file. We are not going to use git, so it is completely useless to us now. Also, this is the active status. That means when you hover on something it looks like that. This is the desktop design, desktop preview, and mobile design. So we can start directly from here. So I'm going to do that. Let's just clean these things up. So we don't need any style tags here. Let's leave the title like this. We can also keep the favicon. Let's see, delete this comment here. Okay, now we need to add some style sheet to style this. So I'll just create a new file named style.css. It will contain our stylings. So we need to link that up, link css and style.css. So this css style sheet is linked with the HTML. We don't need this either. Let's delete that. Now we got it. So let's create the markup first, and we can see it directly from the Visual Studio Code. Let's see the desktop preview. So you need to always plan the styling first before creating the markup. So we can add this background thing. We got a background illustration here. This is the pattern background. So we can add the background with the body here and also some color, and inside that we can create a something like container or wrapper which will contain the entire thing. Okay, let's start. So I will just create a div with the class of container. This container will contain this card here. So at the card, at first we got this image. So yeah, let's add that. Let's create a div with the class of hero, and inside this hero let's add our image. The images are in the folder named these images. They're in the root folder. Now this is the illustration hero. Okay, so after that hero we got some of the text, and as you can see here there are some padding at the top, left, right, bottom. So we can put all these things inside a div and add some padding with that div. So let's create a div with the class of text content maybe, which will contain all the text here. So inside it we at first has a title, then a subtitle, then a box which will contain these three items. So let's add the title first. I will just add a h2 tag with the class of title, and we can actually get the text directly from here. Let's just paste this. After that, let's add the subtitle. I will use the paragraph tag with the class of subtitle. Now inside this, let's just cut this and paste it here. So after the paragraph tag, we need to figure it out first. So we got a box, so we can create a div and add the background color with it. So in this box we got three elements. At the leftmost corner we got an icon which they provided us with. I think this is the SVG. And okay, after that we get two text, annual plan and some dollar per year, then a change link. So what we can do is we can put all these items inside a div, and we can make the div a display of flex, then we can arrange them properly. So in this case, the first two items should be inside a div here, and then chains will be at another div, so there will be gap each other in between each other, so we can use something like justify content between. So we are going to do that. So let's use a div and let's give it a class of plan box maybe. Okay, so inside this we got two different contents in the first div and chains in another. Actually we can use an anchor tag there. So let's use a div with something like plan box left. I'm actually very bad with this class name and id name, so you can give it whatever class name you prefer. So in the flex box left we got two items. The first thing will be the image. The image is images, then icon music. Okay, after that we need to put these two inside a div here. So let's do that. Let's create a div. We don't need to specify any class or id or anything. So inside this, let's use an h5 tag for the title or like the plan name, and let's also use a paragraph tag next, which will contain the this thing, the pricing. So after this div, actually these two are finished, so we can add this with an anchor tag inside the plan box. But after finishing of the plan box left, let's add an anchor tag and the text will be changed. Okay, now the box has finished, so we need to add two buttons in here. So for the first one, let's add a class name of proceed btn. We can just grab the text and paste it here. So let's create a copy of this, and the second one is for the cancel btn, which will be this one, cancel order. So let's grab it and replace the text. Okay, the markup is done. So if we click the go live, it will open it by the Chrome. So as it said in here, the style guide.md, it has been designed in 1440 pixels desktop height. So let's use this breakpoint here, 1440. Okay, so in here we have used this developer tool to see it in the 1440 pixels height. So as you can see, it is in the 1440 pixels height. Now let's minimize this so we can see it live. Okay, now we are done with our markup. Now let's get into the style.css. So in here, at first we need to add the font. So if you click it, the alter and click, it will open the Google font. So in here they have added 500, 700 and 900 font height. So 500, 700, okay, 700 and 900. Now we are going to import this. So let's import it inside the style.css, and also let's copy this. Okay, now let's target the body, and at first I will just paste it here. So as you already know, the browser has some default margin and padding. So for that case, there is some gap and left and right. So we are going to reset this by using the asterisks here. So margin will be 0, padding will also be 0. Let's also make box sizing border box. Now the margin and padding are gone. Now for the body, we got an, okay, let's open the image here. We got a background image, and these things are in the center, and also got this background color of white. Also the corners are a bit rounded, so we can use the border radius here. So let's give this a body of minimum height of something like 100 viewport height. So minimum height on 100 viewport. Then let's set the background image URL, and it is inside the images, then pattern background desktop. Now we got this, but we don't need to repeat this, so background repeat will be no repeat, and the background size will be contain. Okay, it looks better. Actually it doesn't look better. Let's try with the cover. But the thing with cover is it will take the entire height, and we actually don't need that. So we will just make it contain. Okay, now it is far better. So inside this, as you can see here, it got also this background color. So in this white space it will get that color. So for that color we need to get into the style design.md. So the primary color is pale blue and bright blue. So I think this is the pale blue color, so I'll just copy this color and add it as a background color. Now we got the similar effect here. So after that we need to target this entire thing and make it center, right? So we put a container div here. So we need to position this at the center. That's why we need the position to absolute, and we will position it in relative to the body. So for that we need to give the body a position of relative and the container a position of absolute. Now we can make it from left 50%, from top also 50%. And in order to make it properly centered, we need to use the transform property. So transform translate, and around the x-axis it will be minus 50%, and around the y-axis also minus 50%. Now it is centered. Let's give this a height. So let's say we want the max height to something like 450 pixels, and let's give this a background color of totally white color. Actually I think we need to maximum white a little bit smaller than that. Okay, let's keep this like 450. So the background color is white. We can also add a border radius to make the corner rounded. I will go with 20 pixels. Let's save. Now the corners are rounded but images are overflowing it, so we can give this a overflow hidden. Now these two corners will be rounded too. So now let's add some padding with this div which contain all the text in here. Okay, now it got the class of text content, I think. Let's go to the index.html and see it just to be sure. Okay, it's the text content, and in the text content let's add some padding. We can use the percentage value here because this is too much. Okay, now we got some nice padding. After that let's target the title. So we got a h2 with the class of title. You can just target the title here directly. So for the title we got a color. I think it will be the dark blue. Let's just copy this and see it, the design preview. Okay, this is the dark blue. color will be dark blue. Okay, fine. Let's make it bolder by giving it a font weight of 900. We have also imported this. Also, let's make it a little bit bigger. So font size maybe something like 32 pixels. And let's also add some margin at the bottom. So margin bottom, let's try 20 pixels. But as you can see here in the design, all the text here are at the center. So we can add the text align center with the body, or maybe with the text content. Text align center, now they are all in the center. So after designing the title here, let's target the subtitle. So text content, and then the paragraph tag with the class of subtitle. Let's give this a color of something grayish. They actually didn't provide us with the color of this text, so I will just add any random color. So in this case, I will just add something like totally black and then see it here. So if we get the text content and okay, let's get this. So if you select here, you can see it in the developer tool and you can choose whatever color you want. So I think this color looks best, so I'll just copy this and replace the color from here. Now it got this nice grayish color. So actually don't need anything except we need a margin at the bottom. So let's add that margin bottom, something like 25 pixels. Now we are going to target this box here. So all these things inside the box got a class of plan box. Let's give this a background color, and they actually provided us with the background color. This is the very pale blue color, very pale. Yeah, okay, let's just paste it. Now it also got some nice border radius to make the corners rounded. So let's add a border radius of something like 12 pixels. So now we need to apply the flex here. So if you see the index.html, so this is the plan box. We got two items in here, the first item and the second item. So we are going to make this plan box a display flex. So let's do that, display flex. Now they will be something like that. So we put these two items inside a plan box left div. So we can again put a display flex of that. But before doing that, let's add some padding with the plan box here. So padding, not the padding. Okay, padding. Okay, the padding, let's try 25 pixels. It will have some nice gap and all around it. So after that, let's target the div here. So it got the class name of plan box and left. So make the display of flex and make the align items center. Now they're in the center. We can also apply the align item center with this plan box, but we need to create the gap between these. So let's try justify content and a space between, so there will be most of the space gap between these two different items in here. We have added the text align center with the text content, that's why they are in the center, but we actually don't want this with that. So I will just add the text align to left. Okay, now we also want to create some gap between these two. So let's target the plan box left and the div between this. So this div will containing these two text here. So I will just add some margin at the left, maybe 20 pixels. Okay, it's fine. Now let's target this text here. So plan box left, then div, then this is the h5. Let's make the font weight to 900, so it will be bold. Then font size to something like 15 pixels, it will be a little bit smaller. Actually they have given this the font size of 16 pixels with the body. By default it is already applied, but let's make it font size of 16 pixels. The default is 16 pixels, so it is already there. Now font size we made it a little bit smaller. Also we can give the color of the dark blue, which we have given this the title. Okay, this looks fine, but we also need to make this something pale, like this color, and this color is the same, so I am just going to use the grayish color we have done before. Let's just copy this and target the paragraph tag here. So let's make the font size to 14 pixels. Font weight we don't need any, and for the color it will be this hexagonal color code, so I'll just copy this and replace it here. Okay, we are done. Now let's target this change here. So this change has this color of dark blue and it is also bold. So let's target the plan box and the anchor tag. Make the font weight to 900, which will be bold. And we don't have any, okay, we actually got the underline here, so we don't need to remove that now. So for the color, let's get the dark blue, which is this one. Okay, the box is done. Now let's style these two items here. So they are actually the anchor tags, that's why they are aligned in the same line, because by default the anchor tags are inline element. So let's target the A or the anchor tag with the class of proceed-btn. Let's make the display block. Text decoration will be none, there will be no underline. Let's make the color to totally white, we cannot see it, so we need to give this a background color, and the background color, it is the bright blue color. As you can see, this is the blue. Okay, now let's add some padding like 20 pixels and 0, because we don't need any padding in the left or right, so we only need the padding at top and bottom. So after adding the padding, we can also add some border radius with that. So we'll just go with the 12 pixels, because we have given this the same border radius with this box also. Now we need to add some margin, so let's do that. Margin and top and bottom, let's try 30 pixels, and left and right 0. Now it got some nice gap, so I think we are fine with this. Now let's style this cancel order button, and as you can see, it got this desaturated color here. They have given us desaturated blue, so I'll just, okay, let's just add the selector. So cancel -btn and color, the color will be this desaturated blue color. Also we got no underline here, so I'll just make the text decoration to none. Also let's increase the font weight to 900. Okay, I think this is it. This is the inactive states, but they also provide the active states. So in active states, let's start with the first one, the change text. So the in active states, when you hover on that, they got no underline and the color has been changed. So this is the plan box A, and let's add plan box A and hover. So with the hover, let's make the text decoration none, so when you hover on that, the underline will be gone. Now let's change the color. So when you hover on that, it is actually the dark blue color, and they also provided us with the bright blue. I'll just go with this on. I think everything is fine, and we cannot see the hover effect in here, but now we can do that. So it is fine, but it will be better if we add a transition effect with that. Okay, I cannot see anything because of the suggestions. Transition, we only need the transition to add with the color. So let's try 3 second is, let's save. Okay, it's fine. Now let's add some hover effect with that. So when you hover on that, it got this desaturated blue background. So let's add a hover effect with that. So it is the proceed button. Let's just copy this and create a hover stage. So when you hover on that, we just need to change the background color, and I think this is the color. So this is the hover color here. Now we can also add some transition as well. So I'll just copy the transition from here and paste it. So in this case, we need to affect the background color. Okay, now it looks better. Now let's add the hover effect with the cancel order button as well. So when you hover on the cancel order, it becomes dark blue. Let's also add the transition here. Now with the close up cancel button, let's add the hover and make the color to the dark blue. Let's save. Okay, so everything is fine for this breakpoint. Now let's talk about the smaller or the mobile version. So as I said, the mobile version will be 375 pixels. So 375 pixels. So in the 375 pixels, it is actually looking very bad and broke. So let's just go through all this, and it looks better. So we'll just work with the 425 pixels. It will also cover the 375 pixels as well. So let's add a media query. Media only screen, and the max height will be 425 pixels. So when the viewport will be smaller than 425 pixels, we need the container to have a max height of, let's say we can use the percentage here, 85%. It is better. Actually, let's increase this to 87 pixels. Okay, now it's fine. Now let's target this viewport, the 375 pixels, and style it to make it look like this. So they gave a background color or background image for the mobile viewport, the background pattern background mobile.svg. So we need to change the background as well, although I don't find any difference in here. Let's target the body and give the background image URL images and pattern background for mobile. Let's increase the font size to 14 pixels. Previously they are 16 pixels. Now let's make the title a little bit smaller. Title, let's make the font size to 22 pixels or maybe 23. Okay, it's better. We don't need to do anything with the subtitle here. So let's target the plan box. It is actually good for 375 pixels, but in a smaller display like 320 pixels, it breaks into two different lines and it doesn't look good. So I'll target the plan box first, then reduce the padding all over it. So padding, let's make the padding to 12 pixels. I think it was 20 pixels before. Now they are in the similar line. Let's also decrease the gap between these two. So plan box left and div, it got a margin left. Let's make it 10 pixels. Okay, it's fine. Now let's talk about these two. So about that, it looks good, but if you make this font size a little bit smaller, let's see what happens. So anchor tag with the class of proceed. Okay, proceed dash btn, and it will have a font size, let's say 10 pixels. Okay, way too small, 12 pixels. It's better. We can also try 13 pixels. Let's also do the same thing with the cancel button and the plan box and the anchor tag, which will be this text here. Now let's see how this looks. Okay, now inspect this again with all the viewport. Looks fine in 2500 pixels, also 1440 pixels. Okay, I think it needs some more gap at the bottom, and we can reduce the gap between these two and add some gap at the top. So let's target the media query here, and I have added this with the test content. The padding is 7%. I'll just copy the test content class and add it here. Let's make the padding. So we can leave the padding at left and right the same it is, but for top to bottom, let's make it 9% and 7%. Now we got some nice gap. Okay, I think this is perfect. So the project is done, and I'm not going to upload this on GitHub, but I will upload this in the Codepen. So I will add the link of the Codepen in the description below, so you can go and check that out. Also, if you've done the same project and want to share with me, you can also upload this in your Codepen and share the link in the comment, so I can check that out. So this is the first project we have done, and in the next day we are going to do another project from Frontend Mentor. Let's see what we can do in the next day. So in the next day we are going to create, actually let's apply the filter here and UV. So we are going to do this stats preview card component. So see you tomorrow in the next challenge, and thank you very much for watching. If you are not subscribed yet, please don't forget to subscribe. Take care and goodbye.